So on today's agenda, I'm going to go do something I've not done in a long time because I don't exactly like doing it because I think that it's shady business practice, especially with how games tend to release these days. But I'm going to go to Game and pre-order something, which makes me feel very young. I'm pre-ordering Silent Hill 2 Remake, which comes out next week, so I'm assuming that I still can. Because it looks like if you pre-order online at Game, then it's pre-ordered for delivery to your house. And I don't trust that to come at the time I need to play it. I would rather wake up on the day and go and get it. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to go in and try and pre-order because I think that does then reserve you a copy to go and pick up physically because they give you a ticket. Or they used to. Things may have changed. It's been a while. But the other reason that I'm doing it specifically at Game and not like Currys or Argos, which I previously used for physical games these days, because you can't get physical games very easily that are brand new. They're doing a steelbook version of Silent Hill 2 for, I think, the same price as all the others. I think it's exclusive to Game, and I want it. So we're gonna go do that. But first, I've got to take the partner to the mechanic because her car needs work done to it. That she's left way too late, and she keeps nearly rear-ending people, don't you? Huh?
What?
Nothing. Well, half the car park I usually use is completely underwater, but yeah, good old Stafford, eh? Right, I've decided I'm also going to go to Cannock today because there's like one game there that I need, and it'd annoy me if it wasn't there when I did eventually go, so it's rare enough that I'm going to go, even though it's not particularly expensive. So today's agenda is get a game, get a CEX Stafford, and get a CEX Cannock. Yeah, I like CEX Cannock. Okay, what's in here? I don't even know what that is. Some weird stuff. Oh, an original Yeti. I had one of them. Horrible colour. I have the Yeti X at the minute, but that's cool. Steelbooks. Realistically, I don't anticipate there being anything new this time due to the fact that it's only been a day since I was last in this CEX, but you never know what you're going to find. I'm on the lookout still for some steelbooks, and later on I do go to Game, and there's a decent chunk of steelbooks in there, but way overpriced. It's interesting how Game is still so overpriced, despite... I truly don't understand how Game is open. You guys will come to see that. But check this out. I'm after a Bioshock collection, now that I've got some space, but all of the boxes are knackered, especially this one at the back. Both of the two cases are destroyed. Like, how has that even made it to the shop floor? I'd say I could Frankenstein one together between the three that was acceptable, but I don't think I could. Also, Judgment for PS4 and then Lost Judgment for PS4, both games that I need on PS5 that I'm probably going to have to travel for. Taking a look at PS2 stuff. And a game that I might get recased. There's not been anything on PS2 in here that I've actually gotten in quite some time. It's interesting to take a look at that. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 from yesterday is gone. No, Tekken Tag Tournament 1. But quite a big selection of PC stuff all of a sudden as well, which is strange, because how many people actually had physical PC games? Red Faction, that was rare. Well, I just got out of Game and did not manage to successfully pre-order the game because they didn't know how to do it. They called the manager didn't know how to do it. They called 2 different support numbers, they didn't know how to do it. This is what happens when you put Game into Sports Direct. This is Game... If Game's around by the time I'm 30 and I'm nearly 27, I'd be very surprised. They said, oh, can you come back tomorrow? I'm like, I suppose. I'm not entirely sure what tomorrow's going to change about the fact that the support numbers, the managers and some of the till staff didn't know how to do a pre-order when there's pre-order boxes on the shop floor. Like, I worked at Tesco for like 5 years, I get it. Things go wrong and some people don't know how to do certain things, but there's usually somebody that you can call that does know how to do things. If the till breaks, you call team leader. You know? Oh, I don't know. So that was unsuccessful. And I was in there longer than I expected to be. Hopefully I've still got enough time to go to Cannock. I think it's one of the CEXs that's open until 6. As long as it's open until 6, we'll be alright. But if it's one that's only open until 5, then we're not making that one today either. In which case, I guess tomorrow we've got... In which case, I suppose tomorrow's video is set in stone as well. Yeah, they shut at 5:30. We are not making CEX Cannock today, because it's 5 o'clock now. That's annoying. Would have made it if it wasn't for the faff in-game. I was in there like 20 minutes, because... I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, Game has one job. It barely even has one job now that it's in Sports Direct. Come on. Well, I'm home, and this was the cheapest CX haul I ever did, because the only thing I got was Dishonored Death of the Outsider, which was a standalone DLC for Dishonored 2. And I've got space on my PS4 shelf, so let's put it with them. It's weird to me that the Dishonored cases got less shiny as time went on, but yeah. The thought occurs that it's 6 p.m. and I've still got an Amazon delivery coming with another game at some point. So there's that. I'll see you there, and at dinner, and the cinema, and potentially getting my partner's car back. Fun times. Right then, guys, it's been a few hours. I just got back from the cinema, seeing Shaun of the Dead's 20th anniversary. Christ, I'm getting old. I really hope that Hot Fuzz, in like a year, gets the same treatment, and in like a few more years, World's End, because all of them are good films. And now, I didn't expect it to actually come today, to be honest, because it was like 8 o'clock when we left the house. But I've got a delivery. It actually came. I'm shocked. Let's show you what I got. Okay, first time I bought a game off Amazon in quite some time. And the disc is loose inside of it, which is a bit annoying. So I'll have to get that sorted. But the Walking Dead Definitive Series. Shout out to whoever in my comments pointed out that this was cheaper at Amazon than it is at CX. Because at CX, this is 25 quid. I think I paid 21 at Amazon. And obviously didn't have to drive to Stoke for it. So that's a win. So with newer stuff like PS4 era, I probably should check Amazon a little bit more frequently than I do. With PS3 and backwards stuff, I don't even bother looking at Amazon because the likelihood of being listed on there at all is almost nil. But yeah. Anyway, now I'm off to the gym, and maybe when I get back I'll do a few questions and answers. We've got quite a few to go through from yesterday, so I've got a few videos worth to make. Okay, I'm home. Let's go through some of the questions from my Instagram Q&A from yesterday, shall we? Is there a goal you plan to reach social-wise, YouTube or TikTok? YouTube, yes. TikTok, kinda. So with TikTok, I've been at it now for years. I have built 5 accounts into a point where they're monetizable. Amongst my different TikTok accounts, I have 900,000 followers, or well, I think it's like 950. I kind of want to get to a point where I can say that between my accounts on TikTok, I've got 1 million followers. But the thing is, on TikTok, the followers really don't mean anything. On YouTube, you can look at somebody's subscribers, and generally, provided they've been active that whole time and didn't gain the majority of those subscribers like a decade ago, you can look at the amount of subscribers somebody has and then look at the amount of views they have, and there is a correlation. There really isn't that correlation on TikTok, and it's why I've been able to make 5 accounts successful, because the success isn't qualified necessarily by followers there. You can get... I can go on one of my accounts that I've not posted on in 2 months that has 10,000 followers, and the videos that I post there will get the same views as they would get if I was to post them on my account with 250,000 followers on TikTok. That's just the way TikTok works, whereas that would never happen on YouTube. On YouTube, if you had 2 accounts and you posted to one with 250,000 subs and one with 10,000 subs, the 250,000 subs would always get more. It just would. So when it comes to TikTok goals, I don't really have a follower goal or anything like that. Something I'd like to do is work with more brands. I think that one thing as a content creator I've definitely lacked over the years is I've done like no sponsored posts. I see people doing sponsored posts in the tens of thousands of followers, whereas I'm in the multi-hundred thousands of followers. And the only there's one brand that I work with consistently and have done for 3 years. It's My Protein. They're my ongoing sponsor, but like one-off brand deal sorts of things where people do like sponsored integrations. I've only ever had one of in all the time I do TikTok, and it was Lords of the Fallen for PlayStation 5 like a year or so ago. So I'd like to do more of those. It would take a lot of the stress off of the fact that the creator fund on TikTok is all over the shop all the time. But on that same note, when it comes to de-stressing myself, the YouTube goal is YouTube to be the de-stressor. If I can get to a point where YouTube has grown and I'm getting enough views and therefore earning enough that YouTube is my main thing rather than TikTok being the main thing, that'll bring me a lot of peace. I love on YouTube that it's a hell of a lot more consistent. I'm not battling for views all the time. I'm not battling for different days. Like on TikTok, some days I can earn 300 quid in a day. On other days, it's 3 quid. That's just TikTok in a nutshell. That never happens on YouTube. On YouTube, the peaks and the troughs are way, way narrower. So from that perspective, it's just a case of, again, I've said this before, I don't want to make more money. I want to be at peace with how I make that money. If the money was to primarily come from YouTube rather than TikTok, that would bring me a lot more peace because it's a lot more consistent, it's a lot more reliable, it's a lot more, I don't know. Just, yeah, does that make sense? So I suppose the goal is to be able to call myself a YouTuber rather than a TikToker, because at the minute I've got 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, but there's the 950,000 on TikTok. So like, when somebody asks me out in the wild, like, what do I do as a job? I just usually say I make videos on the internet, and they say, oh, where? And I never really say YouTube because they look and they're like, oh, you don't get enough views for it to be your job. But on TikTok, I do. So I guess realistically, it's just a case of keep doing what I've been doing because it's working. I gain about 70-ish new subscribers a day. One big goal, and it's not about money, this one, or like that. I really want 100,000 subscribers on YouTube because I want that silver play button. It was a goal of mine since I was a kid that I wanted to be a YouTuber. It is a fun one for you guys. I feel stupid when I do this. I hate name dropping because it's like, you ever known someone that like name drops actual celebrities as if they're mates, and it doesn't work like that. But I went to school with Nico Omalana. I'm sure that is a name a lot of you may know. He's got millions and millions of subscribers. His videos are mental. I went to school with him, same year, same classes, all that sort of thing. And we both started YouTube at around the same time, and he didn't quit, and I did. I have been taking YouTube seriously now for about 3 months. He's been doing YouTube for like at least a decade, if not more than. So his success is earned over the course of a decade. I am at the beginning of my YouTube journey. So whenever I get people asking me about like becoming content creator and content creation goals and things like that, I always tell them that just don't quit, because you just never know what's going to happen. You just absolutely can't. You just never know. And had I not quit, could that have been me? Probably not, because I don't do the mental things he does. But like, I'd have definitely been further along than I currently am. That's for damn sure. So yeah, like I said, ever since I was quite young, the goal was be a YouTuber. And I think that silver play button at 100,000 subs would be pretty nice milestone to have displayed on my wall somewhere in my office. The gold play button would be lovely too, but it's less likely because, well, maybe, we'll see. Never paid to bet against me, I'll tell you that for a fact. Next up, here's a cool one. What do I think of Linkin Park? Hang on, where's the question gone? What do I think? Is it Linkin Park's new song or Linkin Park in general? We'll talk about both because I think it's an interesting topic. I love Linkin Park. I'm very stuck in my ways when it comes to music. The majority of the music that I listen to is about as old as I am. Everything is early 2000s. It's just Linkin Park, 3 Days Grace, Evanescence, Skillet. Who else? Bring Me the Horizon, Hollywood and Dead. Let me check my Spotify, see if there's anybody I've missed there. But it's all very much so the same stuff. No matter how many different gym playlists I make, they're all about the same. And then I end up listening to the same sort of music in the car, and it loses its effect in the gym in terms of being able to like make me annoyed in a good way. Eminem, mostly Linkin Park though. But yeah, I love Linkin Park, and obviously Chester died before I had chance to go and see him, like on a tour or anything like that. And obviously they're touring again now with is her name Emily Armstrong. I listened to all of them, the new songs and the covers, and I don't like any of the covers, to be real with you. I don't think I just don't think she does them well. I like the new stuff. Emptiness Machine is a good song. I just don't like when they're redoing the old stuff. Like, even Mike doesn't sound as good as he did, and I don't know why that is. So that's that one. I love Linkin Park, and realistically, there being more Linkin Park doesn't change anything about the past. Like, a lot of people saying, oh, this ruins Linkin Park. It doesn't. All the songs that we've always loved are still there, perfectly the same as they always have been, and they always will be. You know, I really struggle putting new stuff in my playlist because just there's never anything that feels the same to me as half the songs that are in them. This is a good one. Apart from movies and the obvious games, is there anything else that I collect? And yes, I don't know how many of them I can show you though. We'll see. I don't actually collect cards. Some people have asked me about my Yu-Gi-Oh card collection because of this. We'll talk about this first. This is just the 9 cards that have meant the most to me through my childhood, just the things that I thought that were cool. None of these cards are expensive, by the way. I think each one was no more than £3, like max, like they're not rare versions. The most expensive thing was the frame. I think the frame was like 25 quid. I just think that they were pretty. So we got obviously the God cards, the 3 blue eyes, and red eyes, and then Shining Dragon and Dark Magician. So they're I don't collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards anymore. I did as a child. I don't really know what happened to half of those. But something that I do collect, and have had for a very long time, are various different, weapon types. I, believe it or not, have had these since I was about 7 years old. They are definitely too long, even now, for my forearm. Realistically, a sai should be about the length of your forearm so that you can still bend while having it facing inwards like this. So, yeah. I also feature plenty of box cutters. But when it comes to the martial arts weapons, it's because as a kid, I think I've said this in a previous video, I was pretty obsessed with Jean-Claude Van Damme, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee. As such, I was thrown into martial arts by the time I could basically walk. This is a testament to just how impressive it was that I was fat. Because I think at one point it was like 5 days a week I was doing some form of martial art, whether it be karate, which was my main one, Shotokan for anybody wondering, judo and taekwondo. Neither of those two for very long, nor did I do it. I basically stopped after like my 6th year in karate. I stopped doing gradings full stop because, and then I never did any gradings in judo or taekwondo. And I did like 2 weeks of jiu-jitsu when I was like 20. And I was like, by that point at 20, I was 4 years into the gym stuff, and the gym stuff took priority. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do both jiu-jitsu and gym stuff because my joints are achy. And I think now if I was to do, I'd love to do jiu-jitsu now. I'd be very interested in doing that because that's something a lot of gym people transition into. But I feel like my joints would explode. I'm not the man I was when it comes to my flexibility. I used to be able to do the splits. I used to be able to put my foot against your temple. It was brilliant. Despite being a fat kid. Because do you know what we would do? On a Wednesday... On a Wednesday night, after we'd finished karate, my mum would take me from there to the chip shop to get me a doner burger. Well done, Susan. Any calories I've just burned, you've put them right back in my mouth and then some. It was, if anything, it was an advantage, because it was an advantage and a disadvantage, because it meant that there was no one in my weight class at my age, not at all, because I was too fat, but I was able to use that heft to my advantage whilst doing everything. Like, it was harder to take me down if you lacked the skill, because I was way heavier than you as a kid and a young teen. But I still had the flexibility of somebody that had been doing the martial arts for years. Between karate and taekwondo, you get pretty flexible legs. The disadvantage came in that what ended up actually happening was I'd end up having to spar with the black belts and the adults more often than not, because there was no one my age or my weight class that was of my grade. It was never very fun. But what would often happen, and I've told the stories about my dad being not the nicest of men before, is that I ended up at one day getting burnt out of just all of this, because again, it got to a point where I was doing the martial arts not because I enjoyed them anymore, but because my parents wanted me to do it more than I did. You know, when like parents force you to do things and you're just doing it as an obligation because you don't want to disappoint them, or you're young enough that you don't even really have a choice. But while my dad was there, I would hate it if he was the one that picked me up from wherever I was that day. Because were he to see me do something wrong, when we get home, he would, quote unquote, show me how to do it properly, if you get my gist. Which was never fun. So once he ran away when I was like 13, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I quit. Because at that point, I'd been doing it since I was like 6. So yeah. Because of all of that, I have just about every martial arts weapon you can think of. Sai, a bow staff, katana, nunchucks, kama. What else? What don't I have would be a easier one. I don't have a 3-section staff. I think I'll hurt myself with one of them. And I've had most of them since I was 6. Yeah. And there's just always I quite like blades. I have things just everywhere too. And if we're being real, you could probably say that I collect tripods. In this room alone, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's what I want. 4 tripods, and then 1 in each car as well, just in case I'm at the gym and I don't have a tripod and don't want to move them around. Yeah, I think that'll do for this video. This vlog has taken place over the course of so long, by the way. Like, it is 1:30 in the morning right now, and I'm pretty sure that like the first section of this video was at like 2 in the afternoon. It's going to be kind of difficult to edit together as well, because I played some Borderlands in between, so for the Borderlands Day 2 video, I need to finish that off and get that done. So that'll be... yeah, you get the gist. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.